Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube Young Justice review. This is Season 4, Episode 9, Odnu, which is backwards for undo. Yeah, I caught it. And magic in the DC universe, I believe, is when they speak their spells, they say the words backwards. And I think they mentioned that in Young Justice. But okay, so we're getting into the next, as you can see out of the corner, we're getting into the next arc. I'm guessing 4 episode arc. Um, I mean, they've at least the last 2 arcs have ran 4 episodes. So if they continue with the trend, this will another be a 4 episodes. But this time it's a little different. This character is a little bit. It's a character we haven't explored too much. She was definitely a character in season 1. She had a couple episodes. Season 2 and 3, she at least had 1 or 2 episodes that heavily involved her. But this is a character we really haven't focused on. Like this is not one that we've really focused on since, as I said, since maybe season 1, and that's on Zatanna. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. Let's jump into the episode, though. Okay, so we start off with the opening monologue with, I think it's the Vandal Savage, maybe, I don't know. Either that or it's the Phantom Stranger, which will come in later. So we get a history of the magical history of the agents of order and chaos. And honestly, they said in this thing that the universe was 16 billion years old, which really the universe is 7 billion years old. So I'm wondering if it's like in the DC universe there was like something before this universe or something. I don't know. They say 16 billion, and I'm like, wait a minute. The universe is only 7 billion years old, I believe, but I could be wrong. Or no, 13 billion, I believe. Or maybe new information's come out. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, 13 billion years old. So we start off after the monologue, and they explain the agents of order and chaos, which are depicted by red diamonds and yellow diamonds. We go to training in the streets. We have 3 up-and-coming magicians. One is 13, one is Mary from the Shazam family, and I can't remember the other one, and I didn't write it down. He seemed like but they're kind of magical training, you know, to catch little gremlin things or whatever. So, okay, whatever. It was fun. I mean, it was good fun. They're catching them. Zatanna taught each of them a lesson. One needed to really like fix what they magically took. Did. 13 was relying too much on her bad luck magic, and Mary. I don't remember what Mary was. Mary was something else, but yeah. I mean, it was interesting they brought Mary in. I didn't realize until later in the episode that this was Mary from the Shazam family, which is funny because I later on in the episode, she was like, "Well, I can't say it because I'll turn into whatever." But in Young Justice, it's only been Shazam and Billy Batson. It's never been the Shazam family. So this is kind of interesting. I kind of like it. I'm wanting to explore these extra characters. That's what I'm really liking about these seasons, of these extra characters like Oracle. And really, in the first couple episodes, we really didn't get to explore much besides the Beast Boy, Miss Martian, and Superboy. And there were a couple other side characters, but I like the last one where we got to explore a lot of these other characters. So this one we're going to kind of get to sit with Zatanna and these 3, probably more, but there's this like red wave that just kind of goes, it goes all over the world, and then this little girl manifests that looks a lot like a certain witch boy, and turns a heart of Atlantis. It's like a big diamond or something, into a big golem. She puts a smiley face on it and then basically kills the security guard from the bank. Or from the jewelry store? Whatever it was. I don't know what it was. So, yeah, that was interesting. I mean, Young Justice is definitely showing its adult legs. At that moment, the witch boy kind of freaks out, and he's like, they're in a meeting with the light with Vandal Savage and everybody on the TVs around like they were in previous seasons, and witch boy freaks out, and he's like, I gotta go, and then he disappears through a little portal thingy, and Vandal's kind of like, wait a minute. We go into a little bit more in season 3. We had a bit of backstory for Vandal Savage and his origin. Yeah, I believe it was season 3. Now we kind of get to see more of Vandal's origin. Back when after he had got the powers, he started like his own Genosha, like Magneto. He was making like a village of where metahumans that were, I guess his Seers, um, were born and they had meta abilities. He made um, a village for them, and then he went off to conquer new lands. And then when he came back, everybody was murdered, and sitting on top of the pile of bodies was Clarion the Witch Boy. Great. So it's interesting because in the last scene, and the Clarion and Vandal have worked together a lot. So it's very interesting to see this dynamic and see how this plays out in this episode. So they feel this energy wave. They get on this carousel and they use the magic bibbity bobbity boo across town to Madame Xanadu's area. And if you remember her, she is from season 1. She was a charlatan who Kent Nelson went and visited to see if he could talk to his dead wife. And so Kent Nelson laughed at her, and she was using smoke machines and all this other stuff. And apparently, she over the past 10 years has now learned magic, like legit magic, because Lady Xanadu's or Madame Xanadu's shop is kind of like a transit station. Like they come in. Like they came in, I don't remember what city they were in, but they came in and then they were in New Orleans, which is where her shop is. So, and then she bibbity bobbity booed they were tracking the source. I think it was the source of the signature, I think. And she tracked it and then opened a gateway to it. Yeah, because it was to the bank. It was to the bank. That was the source of the wave. So they show up. Zatanna and crew show up, and they find that the witch girl, I guess is what I'm going to call her. The witch girl basically turned this guy inside out. I mean, it's pretty gruesome. Like me and my daughter watch this show, and this is a part where I'm kind of like, do I let her see this? Ooh, I mean, it's pretty gruesome when they first walk. It's brief, but it's pretty gruesome when they walk in there. Because she wants to see what the humans look like on the inside. Yeah, pretty freaky. So then Witch Boy shows up, and then it's a fight between Zatanna and crew versus the Witch Boy. And, the Witch Boy's always just being himself. He's being playful. He's being chaotic, like obviously an agent of chaos. Zatanna's going toe-to-toe with him because Zatanna's, the bomb and stuff. It's really funny because in the very beginning of the fight, man, she goes straight for that Dr. Fate transport where she transports him into the Tower of Fate. Where she's like, and he's like, not that again. You took me 16 days to get out of there. So I mean, it's actually a pretty decent magical fight. Zatanna, eventually what happens is the Witch Boy does get the upper hand on the 4, which, let's be real, I mean, it's Zatanna who could hold her own, but she's also got to worry about her students with her. So, I mean, I think that's probably what did her in, was the fact that she had her students with her. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Witch Boy's, he's an agent of chaos, so he's supposed to be one of the main elements of the universe. During all of it, so after this, they have this really cool magical fight, and but eventually Witch Boy gets on in, and then as he's going to kill the 4, because he separates himself into different body, so he does a multiform technique like from Dragon Ball, and he does and then this girl goes to, what island was it? I don't remember where it was, but it was from season 1. It's the place where they made the spell where they split, like when they split the world into 2, and the adults were on one and all the kids were on the other. And every kid that was older than 18, or every person that was older than 18 was in one world, and then so there were 2 different. So she's like, the stench of him is everywhere here, and so she makes a thing and basically calls him there. While this is all going on, we do get some more backstory from Vandal, or well, between Vandal and the Witch Boy, where it kind of shows the Witch Boy was interested, and I think they said like for 30 days or something like that. The Witch Boy basically experimented on him and like kept killing him and kept on. And I mean, Vandal just keeps healing and healing and healing, and eventually Witch Boy got bored, and then they kind of started working. They kind of worked something out where they're working together, and Vandal's like, "Give me 1,000 years, and I will prove to you that my kind is something, something, something or other." So I guess that's the origin of the Witch Boy and Vandal working together. But it's very interesting to watch this dynamic because I mean, basically, Witch Boy killed his entire family, his entire village, something that he worked for a long time to build, and Vandal knew he couldn't beat Witch Boy. He knew he couldn't. Um, and so um, yeah, so I think they kind of like make an accord or an agreement or something like that. Um, but yeah, so that was kind of it. But at the end, Vandal said, well, at the end, yeah, Witch Boy gets pulled over to what's her face's area, or at least he runs away or something. I actually didn't write it down, so that's my fault. Um, and then we go to Vandal Savage, who's standing in the middle of a tundra or something, or the Arctic. I don't know. I think it was snowy. And he's approached by the Phantom Stranger, and they have a quick chat, and then it goes to the end of the episode. So I honestly I know of the Phantom Stranger, and this season is called Phantoms. So I don't know if this is just a coincidence or if it's going to play this is going to play a much bigger role. I didn't think we would get any more of Superboy in this episode. Like I think we're gonna wait. They're gonna make us wait a while before we get back to Superboy and what happened with him. The end credit sequence was just Saturn Girl and Chameleon Boy sitting on a bench watching. What is it? It's their version of Star Trek. What that Beast Boy was a star on. Okay. Oh, and there was a very quick subplot. Speaking of Beast Boy, there was a very quick subplot this episode where Beast Boy's still dealing with some kind of like depression or something because he was Blue Devil, who is kind of like their house sitter or whatever you want to call him. He showed up, and he didn't show up, but he was asking about Gar and what he was doing. He said, "Oh, I just look so tired." And then Gar later on goes to the supermarket or the drugstore to get some sleep aid, and Blue Devil stops him and basically stops him in the elevator and says, "You okay?" He said, "You're kind of lacking on your chores, and that's not like you. You haven't been going on missions, which is fine, but I'm worried about you." Or he's like, "Should I be worried about it?" He's like, "No, I'm fine. I'm just tired. I need rest." There's obviously more going on. He's probably just super depressed. This is okay, but it seems like a very weird subplot to be focusing on. Like, I get it. Maybe they're trying to bring awareness to depression, which is fine because depression is a thing. It's not just people shouldn't be depressed, but for a cartoon show, it just seems a little weird that they're focusing on this over several episodes. And and I trust Young Justice writers. This episode was really good in my opinion. But we'll see where this goes. I'm excited to see more of Zatanna. And my daughter loves Zatanna. So I'm really interested to see what's going on with this witch girl. And obviously in the image you can see there was one glimpse of Dr. Fate in this episode, but really he wasn't involved at all. So I'm sure he will come into future episodes because he's a part of as you can see, the promo work down in the corner there. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this episode of Young Justice Phantoms. Let me know what you're thinking about this Zatanna arc. I'm really excited for it. And if you guys can, please leave a like. And if you haven't already, and if it's your first time, please consider subscribing to NerdTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel you might have kind of maybe sort of heard of. But I will catch you guys in the next one. Catch you later.